The Gambler by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Retold by Catherine Sklerova. Chapter 4. In the morning, I went to the owner of the house and told him that in the future he must give my bill to me personally. In fact, I had enough money to stay at the hotel for a few months, so I was not alarmed by my expenses. Moreover, I still had 160 gulden left to me. Perhaps this money could make me rich. It was a curious fact indeed. Though I had not yet won anything at roulette, I acted as if I was sure to become rich soon. Well, I could not imagine myself otherwise. I was going to visit Mr. Astley when the Frenchman suddenly entered my room. He had never entered my room before. We were just distant acquaintances and nothing more. To tell the truth, I hated him. His visit surprised me greatly. I understood at once that something extraordinary had happened. He entered with a smile on his face. When he saw my hat in my hands, he asked me where I was going so early. I said that I was going to visit Mr. Astley. He looked at me seriously. He was a true Frenchman. He could be kind and cheerful when it suited him, and sad and bored when the need had passed. A Frenchman is very seldom naturally kind. In short, a natural Frenchman is the most tedious person in the world. In fact, I believe that no other than Russians. I have come to see you on business, he said. I will not conceal from you the fact that I have come from the general. The general has explained matters to me and I must confess that. Listen to me, Monsieur de Griers, I interrupted. I see that you have decided to act as an intermediary in this affair. I am only a teacher. I am not a member of the general's family. Yet, please explain to me this. When have you become one of its members, as you are beginning to take part in family affairs? The Frenchman obviously didn't like my question. He had no mind to be frank with me. I saw it clearly on his face. I am connected with the general only through business affairs, he said. The general has sent me to ask you to forget your intentions of last evening. No doubt you're a clever man. The baron will refuse to receive you. Surely you understand this, don't you? On the other hand, the general promises to receive you back into his hotel at the first opportunity. It is favorable for you, isn't it? You're mistaken. The baron may receive me and listen to me without anger. You came here only to find out how far I am to go in this affair. God heavens, said de Griers. The general is interested in matter and wants to help you. Is there anything bad in his intention to help you? Again, I began my explanations, but he only rolled his head about with open irony on his face. As for me, I tried to pretend that I took the affair very seriously. I said I felt insulted at the baron's attitude towards me. I said that the baron had treated me like a man to whom it is not even worth speaking to in person. Of course, there was a difference of years, social status, and so forth. Of course, the baron must not complain of me to the general. Moreover, I knew I had a right to go to the baron and beg his pardon. And so forth, and so forth. The Frenchman listened to me without much care. When I finished my speech, he said to me, Of course, you are right in some way. Anyway, I came here from the general. I think you did all this to annoy him. Or perhaps you have some other plans and special plans in view. In return, you must pardon me and tell me what you have to do with it. The general, he began. But what of the general? I interrupted him. Last night, he said that, for some reason or other, he had to move with special care at present. He was feeling very nervous, but I didn't understand the reason. He must act with special care at present, he said, the Frenchman. You're acquainted with Mademoiselle Blanche de Gommiers, aren't you? Undoubtedly you know that the general is in love with this young lady. He may even marry her soon. Imagine how any scandal would influence his reputation. I cannot see any scandal that would affect his marriage, I said. The baron is a hot-tempered man. He has a Prussian temper. He can quarrel with anyone for nothing. I do not care, I said. I do not belong to his hotel anymore, but it is quite settled that Mademoiselle Blanche is to marry the general. What are they waiting for? The marriage is not yet settled, he replied. They are waiting for the news from Russia. The general has some business to arrange. I think his business is connected with his mother. The Frenchman looked at me in surprise. To cut things short, he said, I believe that you are a polite man with decent behavior. I'm sure that you will do what I suggest, even if it's only for the sake of the family which has always respected you. Do not forget that the same family has just thrown me out of the work. All that you are saying is for the general's sake. Very well then, he said indifferently. Since my words have had no effect on you, it is my duty to mention that other measures will be taken. There are police, for example. This very day they may send you away. A simple man like yourself cannot challenge a person like the baron to a duel. You will not be allowed to do such things. Your behavior annoys the general very much. Do you think that the Baron will receive you at his house? I will not go to the Baron myself, I said calmly. I will do everything in a better way than you think. I was going to go to Mr. Astley in order to ask him to be my intermediary. He likes me and I do not think that he will refuse. He will go and see the Baron on my behalf. Although I am only a teacher, Mr. Astley is the real English lord. Yes, you may be pretty sure that the Baron will be kind to Mr. Astley. He will listen to him. Or, if he refuses to do so, Mr. Astley will take the refusal as a personal offense. Doubtless, the Baron will receive Mr. Astley respectfully. So, this affair will not end as you think it will. De Griers was silent for a moment. Once more, I beg you to forget this affair, he said. I have come here from the general in order to decline you to challenge the Baron to a duel. If my words mean nothing to you, I have come here also hand you this note from a certain person. Read it now, because I have to send your note as an answer. As he said this, he took from his pocket a small note and he handed it to me. In Polina's handwriting, I read. I hear that you are going to continue with this affair. You have lost your temper now. You are beginning to play the fool. Some circumstances I will explain to you later. Please do not be a fool. I need you at present. Moreover, you have promised to obey me. Remember the Schallenberg. I ask you to be obedient. Polina. Everything to me seemed to change as I read these words. My face grew pale. I began to tremble. Meanwhile, the Frenchman witnessed my confusion. Very well, I said. Tell her to be calm. Why did you take so long in handing me this note? Instead of talking about trifles, you should have delivered the note to me at once. Well, I wanted to first gain some knowledge of your intentions, and besides, I didn't know the contents of the note. I understand, I said. So, you were ordered to hand me this note as a last resort. I'm pretty sure of that. The Frenchman didn't say a word. He was looking at me in a meaningful way. Then he nodded and went away. My thoughts were all in confusion. A couple of minutes later, two ideas crossed my mind. Firstly, why my boyish and absurd threats which I had said at random last night had made everybody so scared. Secondly, what was the influence which this Frenchman seemed to have power over Polina? She wrote me a note and asked him to deliver it to me. He had scarcely looked at her. He had treated her rudely. Also, Polina herself had mentioned to me her dislike for him, so he must have some power over her. Some secret connection must hold her in a chain.